What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. I was on the road back home, and had to do the Dan Salio show, and as always, I'm just the fresh meat. It literally does not matter what I say on that show because I'm just going to get double teamed. Just going to get double teamed, and it's going to be what it's going to be. So Philly 500, I want to say, because I want to make sure that I remember this, thinks that the Eagles are going to be in the NFC Championship game at least. At least. And of course, they ask, well, how far are the Cowboys going to go? Here's my thoughts as the Cowboys finish up training camp. We got our last preseason game against the Chargers on Saturday. You know, training camp is ending. I had a great time in camp and stuff. They asked me, did training camp change any thoughts on where I think the Cowboys will go 11 and 6? And I'm going to say no, that nothing changed that to make me think that they'll do worse. The thing I look at right now is we have a lot of questions that we're going to training camp. The biggest one that is still left is CeeDee Lamb. If the Joneses do some dumb shit and let this thing continue to go on, because see, in my mind, you really should have until Monday. You need to get CeeDee Lamb in the fold after this preseason game and ready to start working by Monday. If that doesn't happen, then yes, I look at things could be a little bit dicier. Then that means we're not getting this thing done in time for him to get any real work and stuff done. And you are then putting your team in jeopardy. If they do get him in, I'm not worried about him and Dak Prescott having a connection. I say, you've got a lot of guys, because I want you to understand here, 2 years ago, we started the season. 2 years ago, we started the season with CeeDee Lamb in his second year with Dennis Houston and Noah Brown. None of our other wide receivers had a touchdown catch in the NFL. And I don't believe altogether that they had 50 catches. So when I look at that, when I look at what I had to start the season 2 years ago, we're still in a better position than we were then. But be that as it may, we're not in a better position as far as the running game goes. I feel better about this team because it looks like we have two road graders on the offensive line. Our running backs may not be that good, but I look at this and say our offensive line could be better as far as run blocking. You remember Tyron Smith was in practice doing like a downfield block on the linebacker, and his hamstring literally ripped off the bone. I don't think things like that are going to happen with Cooper Beebe or with Tyler Guyton. And if you can have those guys be able to run block, and granted, you're not going to say that you've got one of the best running backs in football, but I look at this running back by committee. If you have guys that are opening up holes, like I believe they will be, that's going to give a little more balance than what you had last year. Here's the point that I had with them. You know what's crazy is the Cowboys, I think, were 14th in running the football last year. Not a great season. You know, Philly 500 thinks people were scared of Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, the first 3 games of the season, had more touches than anybody else. And that hamstrung him for the rest of the season. Tony Pollard, you could see, when he had to run the ball up the middle, would hesitate. He didn't want to run the ball up the middle. I don't think you're going to have necessarily that same thing right there. And our running game doesn't have to be the best running game in football. You need it to be capable. Because Mike McCarthy, his thing is, I want to pass the football. I want to hit not just one guy. I want to hit multiple receivers and tight ends. And for the Cowboys, I look at this and I say, Jay Ferguson's going to play lights out. Jalen Tolbert and even Brandon Cooks both look really good and ready to rock and roll with the Cowboys this season. The offensive line is going to be better. Yes, the running game is going to take a step back. I give you that. That's possible. But maybe it doesn't with the offensive line being better. And I'm going to say for, Philly 500, who says the Cowboys are going to start out 2-5, that defensive line is going to be markedly better than it was last year. It's going to be bigger, it's going to be stronger, it's going to be heavier and better against the run. And with actually having linebackers, this team is going to be better than what they're calling. So, I'm enjoying Philly 500. Look, see, this is how crazy Philly 500 is. See, in life, what you have to understand is everybody can teach you something if your mind is open to it. Philly 500's mind is so closed, and with his green colored glasses, he believes everything is the greatest thing in the world when it comes to the Eagles, and can't admit when they have a problem or a weakness. Jalen Hurts, we'll see if he can become that pocket quarterback that Kellen Moore would like to coach. You can't rely on your legs forever. And to me, that's the problem with them. When I look at them, I say they got a long ways to go with their defense. We're talking about preseason and practice and things like that. It's kind of crazy. But he's so close-minded that he automatically will think that everything is perfect with the Cowboys, that their defense, oh my God, you'll look around and say, Mozzie's a bump. Well, Mozzie only had 1 year. And the thing with Mozzie is, what Mozzie did and was asked to do in college was to be a run stopper. He had 1 sack in college. He gets to the NFL with Dan Quinn, who says, I want to make you a 3-technique pass rusher. He is starting from scratch and having to learn everything along with losing weight and understanding how to adjust with it. The only reason why I continue to do the Dan Saleo show, because it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything for me. It is literally where I get trashed. They just come at me. Eagle fans will say the worst, vile things about me and so on. Philly 500, take your medicine, and laugh at me. You're a bum, your quarterback's a juggernaut. The only reason why I stay there is because I believe that their team is going to continue the slide that they had last year with the problems that they have with their coaching, because you still, even now, are having questions about your quarterback and your head coach getting along on the same page. Yeah, you do. You now have your ownership that's telling them who to play in preseason. You got problems. And I think that you guys are going to go downhill. And hopefully I'm right, because I'm going to be in there. Literally. I won't say shit. When the Eagles fall. I'm just going to sit there with the shit-eating grin and just laugh. That's all I got to do. So, there you have it. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know. But we're going to find out what we're going to find out soon. Peace.